Welcome to AI Paper Podcasts. Today we are looking at Void, Video Object, and Interaction Deletion, which is this brand new preprint from researchers at Netflix and Insects.
Yeah, and it is a fascinating one.
It really is. So to give you all a rapid, high-energy summary right off the bat, if you're an ML engineer, you know existing video inpainting models are great at fixing background pixels, like removing shadows.
Right.
But they completely break the laws of physics if you try to remove an object involved in a physical interaction.
Yeah.
You know, like a person holding a ball.
Exactly. The ball just floats there.
Right. So the solution they propose here is Void. It is a framework that uses a vision language model, a VLM, to act as a reasoning engine.
Which is such a smart approach.
Yeah, and this VLM generates a specialized QuadMask to map out the physical consequences of the object's removal. This mask then guides a CogVideoX diffusion transformer to synthesize a counterfactual reality.
And the training data for that is really unique.
Totally. The model is trained on a new paired dataset of synthetic physics simulations from Kubric and HUMOTO.
Oh.
And to fix structural deformation during new motion generation, Void uses an optional second pass.
Yeah, the flow-warped noise stabilization.
Exactly. The result is that Void dramatically outperforms commercial systems like Runway Gen 4 in human preference. It even correctly simulates unseen effects, like a balloon floating away when the person holding it is deleted.
It is wild how well it works.
Okay, let's unpack this, because that was a lot of information really fast. And we need to slow down to explore exactly why this problem is such a massive hurdle for current ML models.
Yeah, it really comes down to this concept of spatiotemporal entanglement.
Right.
Because current models, things like Generative On-Demand or ProPainter, they are highly optimized for photometric effects.
Like removing shadows or reflections on a window.
Precisely. They excel at figuring out which pixels belong to a shadow and just wiping them clean. But kinetic events are a total blind spot.
And kinetic events are what, exactly?
It is when one object physically alters the state, or, the momentum of another object.
I love the domino analogy the paper uses here.
It was the perfect visual.
Yeah, so if you use a standard in-painting model to remove the middle tiles of a falling domino chain, the later tiles just keep falling in midair.
Right, because the model doesn't understand momentum.
Exactly. It just paints a clean background wall where those middle dominoes used to be.
And what's fascinating here is what that failure actually reveals. True video editing isn't just pixel replacement anymore.
It has to be more than that.
Yeah, it basically requires a world simulator. The model has to perform high-level causal reasoning to answer, like, what would happen if this object never existed in the first place?
Which obviously brings up a massive data problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if the model needs to learn causal physics, it needs training data.
Yeah.
But you can't film a real-world counterfactual where someone simultaneously exists and doesn't exist.
No, you definitely can't.
So how did the researchers actually get the data?
Well, they used synthetic data, which is brilliant. They repurposed the Kubric engine.
And that's for rigid body dynamics, right?
Yes. Collisions, gravity, things hitting other things. They generated about 1,900 paired videos in Kubric.
Wow, okay.
And for articulated, human-object interactions, they used the HUMOTO 4D motion capture data set. That gave them about 4,500 pairs.
So they would simulate an action, delete the target object, and then just re-simulate the same scene.
Exactly. The physics engine automatically calculates the new outcome. And a really crucial detail is that they randomize the camera trajectories during this.
Why do that?
To mathematically separate camera motion from object effects. If the camera is always still, the model might just associate any pixel movement with a physical change. Randomizing it forces the model to actually learn the physics.
Okay, but I have to play the skeptic here.
Go for it.
If the model is fine-tuned exclusively on, floating synthetic blocks and simulated humans, how on earth does it understand the textures of a real-world video?
That is the million-dollar question, right?
Because I upload a high-def video of a real person, not a block.
Well, the goal of this data isn't to teach the model how to draw a tree or a real person.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the backbone here is CogVideoX, which is a massive model. It already knows what reality looks like.
Right, it already has those visual priors.
Exactly. This fine-tuning is just to reawaken and refine the physical priors that are already latent inside that CogVideoX backbone.
So the training data gives the model the capability. But during inference, how do you mathematically instruct the model on exactly where physics are about to change?
Yeah, the user experience is pretty smooth.
Right, so you provide a video, click a few points on the object you want to remove.
Which gets processed by SAM too, by the way.
Yeah, segment anything model 2.
Yeah.
And then you hand it to a VLM, like Gemini 3 Pro.
Yeah.
But how does that actually guide the physics?
Well, this is the evolution from the older TriMask to Void's new QuadMask.
We'll break that down. What is the TriMask?
So previous approaches used 3 colors: black for the removed object, light gray for the affected areas, and white for unchanged background.
Which sounds fine at first.
It does, but it creates ambiguities. Say you remove a boy catching a ball.
Okay.
The physical space where his chest was is both the removed object and the new path the ball must fall through.
Oh, right. So the model doesn't know what to do with that space.
Exactly. Does it paint the boy as deleted, or does it paint the ball falling through it? The TriMask forces a choice.
And the QuadMask fixes this.
Yeah, the QuadMask solves this by introducing a 4th color, dark gray.
So dark gray explicitly maps the overlap between the deleted object and the newly affected trajectory.
Spot on. It removes the ambiguity completely.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me, though. The VLM acts as a zero-shot physics oracle.
It really does.
Like it predicts this grid-based mask purely from world knowledge without needing explicit physics engine calculations at inference.
Yeah, the VLM just looks at the scene and says, logically, if the boy is gone, gravity means the ball will fall here.
That is so impressive. So once the VLM hands this QuadMask to the CogVideoX diffusion model, how does the architecture synthesize the new reality?
It happens in a 2-pass system. Pass 1 is the counterfactual trajectory synthesis.
Okay, so what happens in pass 1?
The model correctly predicts the new motion, so the ball dropping to the floor. Yeah. But lightweight video diffusion models, even CogVideoX with its 5 billion parameters, struggle with temporal coherence during complex new motion.
Right, so pass 1 gets the trajectory right, but a rigid guitar suddenly turns into jello as it falls.
Huh. Yeah, the squishy guitar problem. It loses its structural integrity because it lacks temporal anchors.
So how do they fix the squishy guitar?
That is pass 2, flow warped noise stabilization.
Flow warp noise, that sounds intense.
It's actually based on a technique called go with the flow. The system extracts the optical flow field from pass 1.
So it maps out the actual motion vectors.
Exactly. Then it derives warped noise that aligns with that motion and runs the diffusion process a second time.
Oh, wow. So it effectively gives the diffusion noise a rigid skeleton?
Yes. It maintains the object structure because the underlying noise is moving coherently along the fall trajectory.
That is so clever. Does it have to do that for every single video?
No. Pass 2 is triggered dynamically by the VLM only when significant motion changes are detected.
Right, to save compute.
Right.
So the architecture makes sense, but how does it stack up against state-of-the-art commercial editors?
This is the fun part.
Yeah, and how do you even measure a reality that doesn't exist? There's no ground truth of that boy not catching the ball.
It is a massive evaluation challenge. They ended up using 75 real-world videos and ran a huge human preference study.
And Void completely dominated it. It won 64.8% of the time, just crushing Runway Gen 4, which only got 18.4%.
And keep in mind, Runway Gen 4 was explicitly prompted with text on what should happen.
Really?
Yeah, they literally had to type out, make the object fall to the ground, and it still failed.
That is wild. If we connect this to the bigger picture for ML engineers, this paper proves that standard pixel-based similarity metrics are fundamentally broken for interaction-aware editing.
Broken is the right word. Metrics like LPIPS, PSNR, and DreamSim just do not work here.
Let's talk about the Diffusion shadow example, because that really highlights why.
Oh, that's a perfect example. So a baseline model like Diffusion completely fails to remove an object's shadow.
Right. The object is gone, but the shadow is just sitting there.
Which is physically impossible, but it might actually score better on LPIPS than Void.
Just because Diffusion alters fewer pixels overall.
Exactly. LPIPS rewards it for changing fewer pixels, even though the physical reality it created makes zero sense.
So to truly measure causal physics, researchers must rely on video-level metrics.
Yeah, things like FVD, and crucially, VLM as a judge.
Oh, right. They use Gemini 3 Pro and GPT 5.2 as judges, right?
Yes, and those VLM scores strongly correlated with human preferences. They actually understand that a shadow without an object is a failure.
Beating benchmarks is great, but the true test of a foundational approach is out-of-distribution generalization.
Which is where this paper really shines.
Definitely. I want to share the craziest findings from the paper, because Void was able to hallucinate correct physics for scenarios it was never trained on.
The zero-shot extrapolation is amazing.
Yeah, so you remove a person holding a balloon, and the balloon floats up. even though there were no floating objects in Kubrick or HUMOTO.
Everything in training either sat still or fell down.
Exactly. And in another test, you remove a person's hand from a blender and the blender stays off, even though there were 0 electrical appliances in the training data.
It just understands the semantics of the scene.
Right. So what does this all mean? It proves Void isn't just memorizing synthetic block collisions.
No, not at all.
It has successfully merged the VLM's semantic world knowledge with the diffusion model's generative power.
It is a massive step forward. We are watching video models transition from mere pixel painters to actual simulators of our physical world.
Which is incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
And it leaves us with a final provocative thought to ponder.
Oh, I know where you were going with this.
Yeah. If a VLM can successfully guide a diffusion model to simulate complex counterfactual physics for deleting an object, what happens when we reverse the pipeline?
Right, like adding something instead.
Exactly. Could this exact same architecture be used to simulate counterfactual additions, where you paste a massive 500-pound weight into a video and the model automatically hallucinates the table underneath it, buckling and breaking?
That would be unbelievable.
The line between video editor and physics engine is rapidly disappearing. That is all we have for today on AI Paper Podcast. Catch you next time.